Welcome back to Behind the Scenes. This is Lisa Condit, and I'm pleased to introduce you all to Jim Kronzer, our set designer. Jim, welcome to the program.
Nice to be here.
Jim, I went to your website, and I was flabbergasted and amazed at all of the work that you have done. But first, I think we have to set the scene for people, haha. And I would love it if you could just describe a little bit for people what it is that you do to transform our stage into a London cityscape.
Well, we start with a blank slate here. We don't have anything in the theater when we start off. And one of the things that we wanted to do was create and evoke something that everybody can connect to, and that is the time of year that is Christmas. From an English kind of point of view, Englishman's eyes. So we have, kind of real buildings. And the fun thing that the set does is that it transforms to take us to all these different places that we go through and to during the course of the evening.
It's amazing. The set is truly amazing as you're sitting in the audience and you see the swapping out of the pieces, but also those backdrops are gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's funny with technology these days. We're now into computers and computer graphics, and I think that backdrop, which I've done a couple years ago now, that was one of the first backdrops that I did in Photoshop. So it is a kind of collage of different images, and you manipulate it through Photoshop, and we just get this beautiful silhouetted background. It's also translucent, so when we backlight it, it's got a luminosity.
Oh, it glows.
That just makes it even more beautiful.
It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, I had heard that those are hand painted. Is that true?
Yes, this was hand painted for us several years ago. So there's people called scenic artists who are skilled in the art of creating large backdrops, and it's amazing to watch them. The piece of fabric is 30 feet high by 50 feet wide.
Wow.
And they sit and probably takes them about a week to paint that.
Only a week. That's what's amazing to me. For a 30 by 50 foot piece of canvas, really. Yep.
Yeah, and it's truly a skill set that is you don't see much, and the good ones are exceptional. And we had some exceptional ones working for us.
We sure did. And so tell us, you must deal with a lot of different levels and layers, because that's what really adds the richness to everything. So you start with a blank slate, like you said, and then you add in some of the structures, and then you've got the what's the technical term for are they called backdrops?
Yeah, backdrops. And I think that was so great, what you just said. And it's one of the things that I pride myself on doing as a designer is doing layers, which I think just creates a richness. The backdrop is only a part of it. But then on stage are a series of these buildings. And what happens, to take us, for instance, to Scrooge's bedroom or to Fezziwig's shop, these buildings transform so that what happens is that they turn around, revealing an interior scene. And one of the challenges is, so that we don't get bogged down and we don't slow the story down, these transitions have to happen kind of very quickly and very seamlessly. And so just by pivoting a building, we reveal an interior, which is how we set up most of the scenes. Fezziwig, it's actually just a post and beam structure, no big walls. And what I like to believe is that audiences are very smart and very intelligent, and they love filling in the blanks. And you don't need to give them the wallpaper and the cornice and all the candlesticks. You give them an inkling of what it should be, and then they fill in the rest.
Well, that may be true, but the detail is amazing. Oh, and the door knocker.
Yeah.
Are we not supposed to talk about that, though? Is that a secret? Or can we talk about it a little bit?
It is a kind of a secret, but just know that it's the simple ideas that win the day, and the door knocker idea is a simple idea that just is a great effect, and I think a nice surprise.
Very. And I also love the fact that our entire stage is hand-painted with cobblestones.
Yep. Not only that, the cobblestones are in a forced perspective.
Of course.
So just to make life a little bit more difficult for the painters, it does have a forced perspective, which gives it the illusion of having more depth than is really there.
So how many people did you work with to really create this whole set?
Well, first and foremost is Troy, who directed the piece and commissioned the piece. He, as director, he and I worked very, very closely on conceiving what the show would look like, how it would feel. We went through the different transitions, to make sure that we had, a good sense of the rhythm and the flow of the show. Then working with a very good friend of mine, Charlie Morrison, the lighting designer. Lighting becomes very important in terms of how you paint the world with light. And then, of course, costumes get involved as well. So, as you can see, the other designers have a great hand in the visual look and success of the production. I'm a huge believer in that collaborative process. And when the collaborative process is a good one, the results show on stage. And I think that's what we've got with this production. I think it's also a testament to, bringing the show back year after year, how much audiences love and respond to it, and the kind of timeless story that is A Christmas Carol. One of the things that I love about what the set does is you've got these little warm, intimate windows backlit with candles, and I think it's just so inviting. It's a street that you want to kind of enter into and see what the story is. So those kind of visual clues are also what I think makes the play. You just want to kind of enter that world and inhabit it for a couple of hours.
Oh, it's amazing. And we're so pleased that you were able to help with this. And, Troy has been on and all of the other designers have been on, and you're all saying the same things about the close collaboration with Troy, his vision, the way that you've all worked together to make it come true, the magic that people feel. So we're all in for a big treat. This is our 5th annual production. I know he was working on it before, but when he brought it to the Hanover Theater after we opened, I think that that's what took it to the next level. So it really is Broadway quality. But here in the second largest city in New England, beautiful downtown Worcester.
Yes, and I tell you, it's one of my favorite stops. I've been to Worcester several other times for some other touring productions, and it's always a favorite stop of mine.
Absolutely. So just one quick thing before we go. How did you get into the scenic and production designer work?
In high school, I got bit by the theater bug, and funnily, you go back. I saw a painter painting a backdrop, and I had no idea how you did that, and I was just so intrigued by it. And much to my parents' chagrin, I stuck with theater. I didn't go into electrical engineering like my dad wanted me to, but just stuck with it, and it doesn't feel like work. It's a great treat to do what I do.
Well, and
playing in the sandbox every day.
And you've won numerous national awards for your work, so congratulations. And I think the true message here is follow your passion. That's what everybody says. If you love it, you'll succeed.
Absolutely, without question. Love what you do. Love what you do.
Absolutely. So thank you for joining us. I can't wait for everybody to see your beautiful designs on stage, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thanks, and have a great Christmas.
All right, you too, Jim.
Hi, it's Jim Brickman, and I want to wish the Hanover Theater a very happy 5th anniversary. Such a breathtaking place, and I'm thrilled to be included in the lineup for this season or any season. Happy anniversary, Hanover.
WCRN.
Welcome back to Behind the Scenes at the Hanover Theater. This is Lisa Condit, Director of Marketing and PR and co-host of this fabulous program brought to you with the generosity of WCRN. And right now I'm here with Elise Robbins. Welcome, Elise.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it is so great to be able to talk to you. I have been an admirer of your work because, of course, I've seen your choreography in A Christmas Carol before, and there was one year when you played Mrs. Fezziwig, but this year you are focusing solely on the choreography. And for people who haven't seen this show before, can you just give them a little snippet of what that means?
Sure. I played Mrs. Fezziwig for 2 years. This year, it's actually been quite nice just being the choreographer. I get to see the full picture so much more. For this show, there are about 5 numbers that have dance in them, and I think it makes the piece more joyous and fuller. It helps to tell the story in a way that it wouldn't if it didn't have the dance.
Oh, there are some really great scenes. What are some of the really great dance scenes that we have there?
Well, I think our biggest one is Wassail. It's the Fezziwig party, where young Scrooge proposes to Belle. It's a scene where we see what Scrooge could have had.
Oh, absolutely.
Had he followed the path of Mr. and Mrs. Fezziwig and used them as an example.
And people are literally kicking up their heels and dancing.
They are. There are skirts flying, and there are people flying, and it's a great scene. It involves everybody, and it's a big party.
Oh, absolutely. And then there's a very elegant, more of a ballroom scene.
Yes, there's the waltz at Fred's party, at his nephew's party.
Oh, so
and
elegant.
that's a lovely piece. It's 5 couples dancing at his party. It's just a different, cozier feeling, more elegant. You're right. It's more elegant,
and
smaller.
And
feeling.
yes. And it's so nice because you do have dance that just ties all the scenes together too. You'll see children just skipping and dancing merrily in the streets as scenes transition. You also see, in Scrooge's bed chambers, he has some visitation with some girls dancing. And I have to say, we have a mutual friend who raves about you, Elise.
Who's this?
Charlotte Klein.
Oh, no, you know Charlotte?
Oh, do we know Charlotte? Charlotte has her performances at the Hanover Theater. And, of course my daughter dances with Charlotte at Charlotte Klein Dance Centers. And she raves about you. And sorry, I was supposed to go to our anniversary gala where I would have seen you and we could have bonded over this. But she thinks the world of you. And, of course,
I think the world of her.
Well, and, of course, her husband Ben brags about you all the time, too. So...
They are my second family. I was a Charlotte Klein dancer from the time I was 4, and I think once a Charlotte Klein dancer, always a Charlotte Klein dancer.
Oh, absolutely. But
that was my second family.
Well, I bring that up because you mentioned in the program, in your bio, your hometown of Worcester. So what is it like? What is it like coming back to that?
It's really lovely. It's been very sweet to come back to Worcester and work at the Hanover. The Hanover, first of all, is a gorgeous, gorgeous theater. There are very few theaters that have been renovated to have the pomp and circumstance and the feeling of this theater. So I'm actually really proud that that's in my hometown. It's a nice thing for Worcester. I hope it helps revitalize Worcester.
Oh,
and it is really nice to come back, and there are people who come to see the show who I haven't seen in years, and it's been a nice way to reconnect with people and with my community.
Well, and because it is a tradition here, which is really nice. The 5th annual production, we're so glad that you're a part of that. We're so glad that we get to see your work on our stage, and it's been such a pleasure talking to you. Is there anything you would like to share with people, anything that you want to make sure that people know about the performance or about yourself before we part ways today?
Well, about the performance, I would just say, even if you have seen it before, go again. Something changes every year. We have new choreography. We have a new Scrooge. We have a new Bob Cratchit. It's really, it's such a beautiful story of rebirth that I think it's worth seeing every year.
It really is.
And for me, I'm about to go into my next project. This Monday, I'll be directing and choreographing Marry Me a Little at the New Rep in Watertown.
Fun. Well, continued success to you, Elise. We look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day.
Thank you.